Welcome you to the information session for the Certificate in Data Analytics here at the University of Pennsylvania. Would love to begin by introducing all of the hosts that are here for this session. Again, my name is Jamie Kelly, and I am the Director of Certificate and Non-Degree Programs at the College of Liberal and Professional Studies at the University of Pennsylvania. And one of the most exciting things that I get to do is work with the wonderful Penn LPS Online Certificates. I'll introduce Andrew next. Andrew, please.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew Orange. I am the Director of Operations for a few programs at Penn, including the Penn Program on Opinion Research and Election Studies, which we refer to as PORS, which I'll talk about a little bit later, as well as the Robert A. Fox Leadership Program, and then also have the unique pleasure of kind of helping to manage a lot of the logistics behind the scenes for the Penn LPS Online Certificate in Data Analytics. And I'll pass it over to my colleague, Samantha.
Hi, I'm Samantha Sanchito. I am one of the co-creators of the data certificate. I am the professor in the 4th course in the sequence, and I also teach the synchronous component of actually all 4 of the courses, which we'll talk about a little bit more later what that means. I also teach in the Fels Institute of Government, so I teach mostly graduate courses on campus, and also through the political science for and I'm also technically a researcher at PORS with Andrew as well. And I guess I will turn it over to Amy Mulhern.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Mulhern. I'm the recruitment manager for Penn LPS. So I oversee or manage the recruitment efforts for most of Penn LPS programs. And with Penn LPS Online, I recruit for the data analytics certificate and advise students signed up as course takers for Penn LPS Online courses. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Amy. And so in this session, we are going to give you an inside view of this certificate and how it works so that you'll have by the end, hopefully a really strong opinion on if this certificate makes sense for you. I also want to introduce you to the space that we're working in. This is a Zoom webinar, which you may or may not have used that format of Zoom before. And I want to sort of familiarize you with some of the tools that you can utilize with a Zoom webinar. The first, which you are probably all too familiar with, at the bottom center of your screen is the chat button, which you've probably used in other Zoom meetings. The chat button for this Zoom meeting utilizing chat would be great if you have like a technical issue or having trouble hearing someone, something like that. Chat would be perfect for that. But what we're actually going to be using the most of is the Q&A, which is right to the right of the chat button. And the Q&A is where we'd love for you to enter all of the questions that you have for us during this session, which we are going to answer at the end of this information session. And it's a great way to also see the questions that others have during the session. And we highly encourage you to use the Q&A for any questions that you have during this webinar. So first, we're going to talk to you about the courses and student resources that you'll have available to you as a student in the Certificate of Data Analytics. So first, I want to sort of talk about a big overview of the certificate. The Certificate in Data Analytics is a 4-course certificate, and each course is 1 course unit at Penn, and a course unit is equal to 4 credit hours at another university. That's often something that people get a little bit confused about, is what is a course unit? So the entire certificate, therefore, is equivalent to 16 credit hours of study. These are University of Pennsylvania classes. They're very different from a MOOC or other free coursework that you would find online. These are Penn credits on a University of Pennsylvania transcript. Something unique is that they are 8-week courses. So that means that instead of a 16-week semester, these are really working in double time. So you're going to be putting 15 to 20 hours a week of work into each course. But what makes that wonderful is that you can complete the entire certificate in a year if you study that way. A good deal of the work within the certificate is asynchronous. And what that means is that the coursework and the classes do not meet live, and that you can participate in your class in the middle of the night if that works for you. But our classes are not self-paced. And what that means is that there are deadlines for assignments. And so you need to participate in your class on a daily basis or every other day in order to be successful. Now, these courses often offer weekly live synchronous sessions in the evenings, which we definitely want you to attend. And now I'll introduce Sam to talk about the courses in the certificate.
Thanks, Jamie. So the certificate consists of 4 courses. The courses are meant to be taken in order because this content does build as you go further along through the certificate. So I'll talk about each class in turn in a moment, but first, just to give you sort of a general overview, we try very hard to make sure that the courses can be personalized to you. We know that everyone learns differently and everyone's background is going to be different. Some people might come in having learned another programming language, and some people might come in having absolutely no experience with coding, coming to this fresh for the first time. And we want to make the experience as right for you as possible. So to do that, we cap our registration at I think the maximum is 42 students, and for some of the classes it usually works out to be between 30 and 42. So that we have time to personally meet with you. You have complete access to your synchronous session professor and also a team of TAs who I'll talk about in a bit, who are excellent. So that if you want that one-on-one time, if you want that connection with us, it's totally available to you. You don't just have to do it through Zoom. We also offer a suite of ways to interact with us, either via email or through Piazza or our a forum that we use for the course content, so that we can talk to you and you can talk to us, just like a chat room online. So getting to the courses, the first course in the sequence, Data 101, is meant to be both an introduction to the programming language R, but also data analytics as a whole, right? What can we do with data and how can we pull really useful pieces of information from it? And we also try to provide a sampler of the different techniques and concepts that you can learn with R. So that first course of the certificate is going to give you a taste of a lot of topics, but sort of at a high level, so that you can get a flavor. Is this for you? Is this topic something that you like? Is this other one something that you want to get more into? Then the second course in the sequence, we slow down and we go back to basics. And we talk about data manipulation that maybe isn't as fancy as the things that we learn in 101, but is our bread and butter. If you want to be working with data, you're going to have to know how to manipulate different columns, different rows, how to merge in data sets together. Things that don't sound very exciting, but allow us to do the really, really exciting work. And there are a bunch of fun topics in Data 210 as well, as complicated as something called a for loop, and as introductory as just beautiful visualizations that you're going to be able to do with just a couple of keystrokes. Then in Data 310, we teach you an introduction to statistics course, and that course is again built like all of our courses to be approachable for folks who don't have a background. So we don't require that you have taken calculus before. We don't require any sort of math background at all. However you come to this course, you are going to get something out of this course. We teach it in a very practical way. We use examples as much as possible, but we also we show you proofs, and those videos are up and available to you. So if you do have a background in calculus and that is the depth that you want to go to with statistics, you absolutely can with one course, which is hard to get right, but I think that we've done a really good job, and the feedback that we've gotten on the course is very good. So it definitely would take you through descriptive statistics for a sample, so mean, variance, standard deviation, all the way up through regression with interaction terms. So it is a traditional introductory statistics course per the University of Pennsylvania. They usually go to interaction with regression on campus, and we provide you with that same content. Then the last course in the sequence, Data 401, which is my course, that is advanced topics in data analytics. And that's where we get to really, really have fun. By that time in the sequence, you've got a lot of R under your belt. You know how to manipulate a data set. You know how to find interesting facts. And now we're going to mostly work with an R package called Shiny. So it's a thing that we can make in R that allows us to make interactive data visualizations. And you'll be given a number of data sets and asked to really create your own unique research with those data sets. So it's a really nice way to sort of end the certificate by giving you the opportunity to create a portfolio of projects so that when you want to go and show your boss or when you're going to interview, you can demonstrate to whoever you need to that you have these core skills and look at all of the amazing things that you're able to do. And in all 4 courses, we stress that they should be highly interactive, that we want you to ask questions and we want to answer your questions. And if whatever those questions are, we want to offer that support to you. So speaking of support, our next slide is going to walk through that support that we offer. So we've thought very hard about what sorts of things students are going to need, and LPS does an amazing job at offering all of this support for their programming. And in our courses, we are going to have multiple office hours sessions. So office hours are going to be free open Zoom sessions that anyone can come to, either staffed by the professor of the course or our suite of TAs. They usually last about 2 hours. So you can come in, you can drop in. You can also just sit and watch if you don't really have a question yet, but you just want to hear someone else talk through something or listen to other people's questions. You're welcome to do that in our office hours. And then our amazing teaching assistants have all been working with R for quite a while. Some of them are undergraduates at the university, some of them are graduate students at the university, and some have even graduated and have gone off and now are coming back to provide us with some service. And they are fantastic. When we hire TAs, we hire not just for proficiency in R, which is a requirement, of course, and proficiency in statistics, but also that they care about teaching, right? They care about talking to you. They're nice, kind people who want to help and who enjoy that and get a lot out of it, and who are often themselves looking to go into teaching positions in the future. So it's a really great group of folks. And lastly, when you start to learn R, you will know that your best resource for R is going to be each other in the classroom setting. When you have a problem with R, unlike other courses, we encourage you to Google it, right? We want you to search for the answer. We want you to figure it out. If you take the certificate, you'll understand that that's just part of the process. And we want to create our own little Google within the classroom environment. Like, we want you to go to your peers and ask questions. You know, this is a way of sort of crowd searching this information is really what's going to take you from good to great, right? Hearing someone else explain something, hearing the questions from your colleagues and fellow students, right? That's gonna sharpen you and sharpen your skill set. So we want to use each other as a resource because it's our best one. And with that, I believe I'll turn it over to Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. So this certificate program was actually developed by Samantha, myself, and some of our colleagues at the POURS program on campus, which POURS is an unfortunate acronym, but it does stand for something. It's the Penn program on opinion research and election studies. It's an undergraduate kind of data science program within the Department of Political Science on campus, where we actually teach a lot of these same classes that we've developed for you all to our undergrad students as well. And so we approach this world through the lens of being social scientists, right? But what's really cool about the skills that we're teaching you is you don't have to be a social scientist if that's what you're hoping to do with these skills in the future. We tend to focus on problems related to polling and election results and public policy and evaluating effectiveness and that kind of stuff. But the tangible skills that you're going to learn, or how to visualize the data, or the questions to ask, are going to be applicable no matter what fundamental data set you're using in the future. And what's really cool about the POURS team as well, just anecdotally, is in addition to all of the work that we do at the University of Pennsylvania, we're also the team behind the scenes at NBC News that project all of the elections for the news division. So we actually care about like understanding all of these skills and understanding the dynamics of all of this data, and actually, do it in real time on election night to provide you and the American public with our best understanding of where the race stands at this point, and when we can finally put in that check mark to project that a certain candidate is going to win the race. And so I'm going to dig a little bit deeper on the next slide, right, into all of the individuals that are involved in this program. We have kind of two different kind of levels of folks, right? So there are the folks that actually developed the classes and what I would say are on tape or on those kind of videos that you will watch as part of the different classes. And then there are the instructors that kind of manage the class day to day and also kind of facilitate those weekly synchronous sessions. Sam actually happens to fall into both of them because she developed the content for the 4th class in the sequence and is also one of the instructors as well. So the first class was actually developed by Dr. Matthew Lewandowski, who's a full professor in the Department of Political Science at Penn. He's an expert in polarization. He's the guy on the upper right-hand side of your screen right there. He developed the Data 101 class. The Data 210 class, the second class in the sequence, is actually co-taught by 2 of our colleagues. So Dr. Lipinski, who's in the top left of your screen there, who is the director of CORS and is actually the director of elections at NBC News. He does a lot of the lectures in that second course about survey research. He's an expert in survey research and Congress and American elections. And fun fact, was actually part of the team that just evaluated the successfulness or failures of the polls for the American Public Opinion Research Association during this past election cycle. And he co-teaches that second class with our colleague, Dr. Stephen Pettigrew, who's in that second row on the right-hand side there. And Stephen is not only kind of developed the class and teaches the coding portions of that second class, but he's also an instructor for some of the synchronous sessions. He has a PhD from Harvard and is very much an expert in the administration of elections as well as some public polling stuff as well. The third course, the statistics course, is taught by our colleague Mark Meredith, who's on that second line all the way on the left-hand side. And he is like the smartest guy I know about statistics, right? He teaches the undergraduate stat class on campus as well. And he actually gets brought in to advise on kind of when different lawsuits happen related to understanding election results and whatnot. He's kind of one of the go-to experts to kind of analyze that data and run those analyses behind the scenes. And then the last class, as I mentioned, is taught by Sam. The other folks on the screen there, right, so Sean Cates, Ashley Napier, and Mark Tressler are all folks who either have PhDs and work with us full-time, or in the case of Ashley, she's actually a part-time person with us. She has a full-time job at a campaign political consulting organization called Clarity Campaign Labs, which is in DC. So she uses R every single day in her job and then teaches kind of part-time for us as well. But between Sean, Ashley, Mark, Sam, and Stephen, you will see one of them as your instructor. Hopefully we'll see many of them as you continue with the certificate, because you'll get to kind of see how they approach these issues and approach coding in their own projects through taking all of the different classes and taking all 4 classes through the certificate. And then on the next slide here is just a little bit of like, who is this right for, right? So if you're thinking about like, is this the right program for me to go into? As I said before, right, like we're going to teach you how to, understand data, how to manipulate data, how to visualize it, how to draw insights from it. And no matter kind of the data that you're using. So whether you're thinking about kind of becoming an analyst on a business side, or maybe on the policy side, or you're digging into kind of digital ad data, or you're hoping to kind of generate some insights from logistics or business oriented data, this is kind of going to be a program that's going to be right for you to help to kind of develop those base R skills for you to be able to analyze that data. But frankly, if you're like us and you care about social science issues, or you have other data sets that you have access to that you really just want to be able to analyze even further and get insights into, this is going to be a program that will help you develop the skills to be able to do all of that as well. And I'm going to actually turn it over to Amy to round us out here to talk a little bit more about the broader support systems that we have here through Penn LPS Online.
Great, thanks, Andrew. So what are some of the supports available to you as a student enrolled in Penn LPS Online? So first of all, being that it's an online community, there may arise at times technical difficulties. We have 24/7 tech support available if you need immediate assistance. There is a phone number you can call. You can also email the help desk with any questions, any issues arise on the technical side. If it's not an emergency situation, you're trying to get access to something or something's not quite working for you. We also have tutoring, a tutoring program 24/7 accessible through your Canvas course site, free of charge. It offers live tutoring in a multitude of different subject areas. Also a writing lab that provides constructive feedback within 24 hours on writing assignments. So definitely take advantage of that if you'd like. Academic advising. So you have an advisor assigned to you as the data analytics certificate student, and your advisor is there to help you understand policies and procedures, helping you with registering for classes, understanding the academic calendar, pointing you to resources. So we always tell people to utilize their academic advisor. They're there to help you out, help you make the most of your experience as a Penn LPS online student. Andrew just talked a little bit about the faculty available for you. So accessible, friendly faculty who have a vast breadth of experience that they're going to bring to the classroom and make it as engaging as possible. Career advising. We actually have an associate director of career advising who not only holds career advising events like book clubs and workshops, employer spotlights, all designed to help you connect you to job seeking resources if that's your next step goal. Mentorship, portfolio building tools, all the things necessary to really succeed in today's workplace. Again, if you're using the certificate as a stepping stone in your career. The Penn libraries. Penn LPS online students have online access to library resources, including online databases and journals. Those in the area who are local to the university in Philadelphia can access the libraries in person, but otherwise you have access to the vast Penn online libraries. For student disability services, this department works closely with those students who self-identify and document temporary and permanent disabilities, so as to ensure equal access to all the university programs, activities, and services. So if this is applicable to you, I encourage you to visit their website, which I'll drop in the chat in just a moment, to find out more about that and how to contact them. And then finally, we have the My Penn LPS online community. So this being an online setup, we have found really great ways to get students to feel a part of a community, to engage with one another. We have regular virtual meetups with students, and people attend from around the world. And it's a really great way to get to know other students, not only in your classes, but enrolled in other classes within Penn LPS Online. So next we have how to enroll. So here, I'm going to drop a link in the chat here for you, which will take you right to the website with the instructions to enroll as a certificate student or as a course taker if you're just interested in taking individual courses. When you click on this link, you'll see the deadlines to apply. So right here, we see upcoming deadlines if you wanted to get started as a course, taking courses in the fall 2. The deadline to submit an enrollment is October 1st. For spring 1, it's December 15th. Admissions requirements, we require that a student holds at least a high school diploma or a GED and demonstrates proficiency in the English language. So that's either having studied in an English teaching institution or by taking the TOEFL or IELTS exam. It's a $25 application fee to submit the registration. And then the cost of attendance, well, we did cover this a little bit earlier, but per course, the courses are currently $2,482 per course. So for the 4-course data analytics certificate, that comes to currently $9,928 for the total cost of attendance. There is a payment plan opportunity for those it's too late to get enrolled in that for the fall 2 semester, but say you wanted to enroll in the payment plan and spread your payments for your course over 4 months of the semester, you could do that starting with the spring semester if you wanted to kind of spread out the payments. And I believe that covers how to enroll. So at this point, I